It's hot in the Pacific Northwest, and it's hot in the prairies east of the Rockies. It's never been this hot here before, and it feels a lot like global warming. But, as the BBC notes, linking any single event to global warming is complicated. Good job, BBC. Regardless, I love it when things get complicated, so let's look at some climate data and see if we can figure this out. We've hit all-time temperature records. That's a fact. The question is, how extreme are all of these extremes? Now, to answer that, we're going to have to make use of extreme value theory. Makes sense, right? Climate data is complex and massive. To keep things simple in this video, we'll just look at the city of Edmonton and just in the month of June. Now, Environment Canada has data on Edmonton temperatures stretching all the way back to the 19th century. For our purposes, we will just use measurements taken from the city center from 1938 to the present day, all again in the month of June. So first, we can plot and smooth the average June temperature across the years, and at first glance, it doesn't look so bad. It's pretty constant, actually, neither up nor down. But we're interested in extremes, not averages, so let's go look at that. Looking at 20th century data, we have an average high temperature in June of 20.7 degrees centigrade. Now that's an average over all 30 days times 62 years of data. But we're interested in extremes. The average maximal June temperature is 28.8 degrees centigrade. That's the expected hottest temperature you'll likely experience in June in any given year of the 20th century. Now, our high in 2021 was 37 degrees centigrade, which is way above that 20th century average. But that's on its own may not be surprising. We need to ask, assuming that the 21st century climate has not changed from the 20th century climate, what is the probability of experiencing such a high 37-degree temperature between the years of 2000 and 2100? The answer, 2%. And the probability of having a 37-degree high in the first 20 years of the century is only about 1 in 240, and we still have another 80 years to break that record. So I would call that significant evidence that the 21st century climate has changed from the 20th century climate. It looks like it got hotter, but it's actually about to get a lot worse. So everybody fixates on the maximal daily temperature in the summer, which makes sense because you really feel it directly when you go outside. But what about the maximal daily low temperature? So across June in Edmonton, in the 20th century, the average low temperature in the wee hours of the morning was a very cool 9.3 centigrade. The average maximal low temperature was just under 15 degrees. That means the hottest nights of June would be on average about 15 degrees centigrade throughout the 20th century. Our recent nightly low temperature was 23 degrees centigrade. Now, how likely would that be under the 20th century model? There's only a 1 in 26,500 chance that we would see such an event in 100 years, assuming no climate change. If we were to consider only the first 20 years of the century, then there's about a 1 in 132,000 chance of such an occurrence happening by dumb luck, and that is frightening. In general, we always have to consider that our data may just be the result of a random fluke and not actually a significant result. When the probability of being wrong is less than 1 in 100,000, I feel like we can safely say that yes, climate change has occurred from the 20th century. It is hotter. Really makes you wonder if pushing for all those coal mines and oil pipelines is actually a horrendously terrible idea. I think we're going to have to collect some more data and find out. For those of you following along at home, I used extreme value theory to get these results. Check out the R package, EVD. I also tested for normality of the maximal high temperatures, the maximal low temperatures using Shapiro-Wilks, and it all passed. We have normal data. We can use extreme value theory. It's all good. See you in the next video.